I've been cut off numerous times today. It's the same shenanigans over and over and over again. And I had a really great show. I did about 15 minutes of it, and I can't even find it in my cloud. I always report to you guys and let you know about stuff like this. Some of it could be technical and some of it could be by design, and that's what they want. I talked a little bit about a schizophrenic future, and this seems to be the case. I talk about my real life, but I also talk about my project, which is called Linoleum Blown Apart. This is going to be a television series, and it's looking like there's a good chance that it might be stolen and all shot with ChatGPT for the dialogue. Now, if I'm involved in the project, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't care how we created the dialogue, and we can tweak it. And because when it comes time to shooting it, depending on what the director is, you can improvise and you can add, but it would be a basic script to kind of get the funding behind it. I always talk about my project and I talk about my real life. Remember to guard your privacy, blah, blah, blah. It says live, so we're just gonna rock and roll today. It was, I love doing my show in the mornings. Right now, it's about 10:30. I got up again at 4 o'clock in the morning. I've been going to sleep at around 10, getting up at 4. And then I lay there until about 7, right? And then I get up, I shave, etc. I always try to look my spiffiest. I was talking about Lex Friedman. He interviews a lot of people on his channel. And I said he was a handsome guy. That's because he dresses handsome, right? Button up, jacket and a tie, right? I guess you got to dress for success. I'm dressing like this right now. Yay. I look like a over-the-hill soccer player. I can still do it. Get out of my way, youngster. In case you don't know, I'm 57 years old. I was coming up Pico, just west of Fairfax, and I was accosted by a guy who had the same MO, the exact same MO as when an ex-girlfriend of mine who dumped me sent her mother, Marcia, to New York to LARP me, and she brought a police officer looking for heroin. And this was around 1993, I guess. I don't know, 94. And it's anybody's guess. Like I said, I thought these people were my friends. We are not friends, obviously. So this police officer just accosted me yesterday, had the same exact MO. And he's a plainclothes police officer. And again, they know information that's in my cloud or on my show. And that's what they do. They repeat this information back to you. And then they also repeat information that they know, like people like my ex-wife, Jean Marie Tandler, the daughter of the CEO of Lord & Taylor. Ugh. Like I would care. I would protect Heidi Bloom, Yolanda, Renee, Bo Mitchell, any of these people more than I would protect Jean Marie Tandler because she was a serial torturer. She tortured me during our relationship while she put out. Yeah, talk about a honeypot. I mean, I would have never been with her. I didn't know what was happening. In case you guys don't know, I had to go in and try to figure out something about a brain aneurysm. I thought I was having an aneurysm. Okay, and I think these guys are getting ready to make their move to set me up. And I'm really worried about it, but that's okay. We keep going here, right? Don't we? That's right. I'm talking about you, people who are part of my show, and I really appreciate you guys watching. Those who aren't going to in on the setup, god damn. Like either, release my writing and let my show bloom, right? Or they're going to set me up for something. That's what I was really worried about. Like I said, one of the people involved, his mommy writes for the fucking newspaper, and this guy gets to write whatever story he wants to. That's why I call it, don't think of an elephant in your pajamas. So I'm walking up just recently, just yesterday, walking up Pico, and here this guy comes, shit-talking me to my face, threatens me with rape. Okay? I haven't been threatened with rape since I was 11 years old. And I don't know about any of you, But when you threaten an 11-year-old boy with rape, you got some serious problems. And the man who did it, he actually beat his girlfriend so severely that I watched him beat her all the way up on our roof of his house, and she ran up on the roof to get away from him. And I watched him go out there and drag her back inside. That's how I came up. So I'm not sure why Heidi Bloom would send her trashy mother with a police officer to LARP me in 1993, but she did. And this guy was acting just like him. Why? Because they have the same MO. It's the same MO. These people are police officers and they're paid harassers. Okay? And so just to let you know that I had two run-ins with heroin. The time that I OD'd in 1999, I guess three run-ins. I OD'd and died in 1999, so I was dead. And that's when I came back with Narcan, I decided to write my book, Two-Legged Animal, which I did. And you know me, I keep my mouth closed. I don't need an NDA. One time I called it NDAA because I'm all about propaganda, because it's legal now. And, you know, rah, 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 sis, boom, bah. I'm not some big jingoist phony, as you could tell. Another time I had a run-in with heroin was with this LARPer that came with Marsha, Heidi Bloom's mother, to New York City. Okay? Piece of trash. Oh, yeah, that's right. Police officer. Now they're, what are they? Oh, they're essential. Yeah. I guess we're not essential. And then when I was working in the pizzeria when I was about 17 years old, a guy brought in heroin into the pizzeria. We were all doing coke. I don't think there's anything wrong with drugs at all. If you want to do drugs, do drugs. What I would watch out for were certain drugs that make you a sociopath. Once you start doing drugs and you enter psychopathy, that's when you need to maybe take a break. So he brought heroin into our pizzeria, and then within a week, he ran a black and white. And these are blacks and whites who work together because they pull this fake racist bullshit. It's all fake, it's all phony, because they all work together. And then in conjunction with the police department, you have the blue wall of silence, okay? So that's what these people are doing. They're trying to mention things to me that get me triggered. Like, yeah, so I have to take them on their word that they're actually telling me the truth. Right? Now, don't I? When I get into a conversation with somebody, you have to take it on their word that they're telling you the truth. What else choice do you have? But they mention very specific things that only certain people would know, like my ex-wife, whose brother's a police officer, and blah, blah, blah. In case you don't know, they were torturing me willy-nilly in the state of New York. We went, and I had, I had my, my wits about me, so I understood it. Like I said, it took me about 2 years to quit everything, and I did, except for cigarettes. I'm still smoking cigarettes. And that allowed me to kind of have a beer every month, something like that. I did that when I was married, because I was a good guy, and I did the right thing, and I'm not worried about it. And so they were running ops. I call it Cash for Smells Op. This is the I Heart Cock crew that Jason Clifton from Westland, Michigan, my former drummer, is all involved in, along with, like I said, this guy, Jimmy Doom, whose mommy writes for the paper. And that's why Jimmy Doom acts out, because he's trying to impress Heidi Bloom, because he actually thinks he'll get a woman as good looking as that. And he won't, because his old ladies are all skanks. I've seen a picture of one, and I don't care about these people anymore. I did it one time, but then I learned that they were all part of this running game. And this is African Americans and white people, and they're all tied in with the police department. And that's what they do. And the reason I know this was because during the riots in Detroit, someone drove down our street and threw out a box of nails. Now, what's the first thing you're gonna think of when somebody drives down the street and throws out a box of nails in the street so people can get their tires run over? Well, what did the people in our neighborhood do that we were a part of? That we did the right thing and my mother joined the Detroit Police Department for me to get LARPed? No. Everyone came out of their house and they swept up the nails. That's what they do. The fact was that they're trying to blame that on quote-unquote African Americans in Detroit. That's how they work. And now what seems to have happened is that they vacillated And now they're looking at all these quote unquote white people who are causing the trouble, who are Trump supporters. You saw this in this last election. And they're playing this racist game. Racism doesn't exist. Why? Because 80 to 90% of people end up marrying somebody who looks like them. Some of their own quote unquote ethnic background. I believe in ethnicity. I don't believe in quote unquote race. I mean, these notions are fallacious, and I prove it every day on my show, but I'm surrounded, and these cops are getting ready to set me up. I have a bad feeling about it. They're either going to murder me and say, well, we offered him services. We offered him services. He said no. You saw he's a former drug addict. What? I get, guys, I give you something different on every show, don't I? I give you something different every time. I can come on here and do a half an hour show every day, and I do. And I give you something totally different. You guys want to talk about the cupcake killers in Detroit? Yeah, my dad talked about them. And that's what they do. I talked about Brittany Murphy and her loving husband. Loving to her, obviously. They got murdered. That's right. Cupcake killers in Detroit. And this is the kind of stuff that my dad would talk about. And this is the kind of stuff that my mother and my sister, who run the house, who don't have any respect for anybody else's opinion, who'll shut them out and physically attack them. That's what they do. And they've done it for years. They'll poo-poo. They'll laugh and think it's a joke. Well, us guys know better. I spent time on the streets. Okay? And when I say my mother worked for the Detroit Police Department, she was a crossing guard. And the police came over to our house one time, and they asked her about the drug dealers in the neighborhood, and she's like, so? I don't care about the drug dealers in the neighborhood. Well, they were protecting their interest. We know that for a fact. And what these people do is this. What they'll do is... I gotta check my 6. I gotta check my 9 and my 3 too. 3, 6, 9. They were protecting their interests there. Okay, so let's not make any mistake about this. That's why I came out here, to be a creative individual and to get work. I'm part of the solution, not part of the problem. I don't do drugs anymore, but just like the cupcake killers, they put the poison in the cupcakes. Who can resist the cupcake? I mean, that was, you gotta admit, for killers, it was pretty smart. It was actually pretty smart. What are you gonna do? Who can resist the cupcake, right? So there's that. So again, I talk about my real life because, you know, I'm not some goddamn phony. And the fact is, a lot of this stuff, that's why The Sopranos was so great, is because they took the mick out of this old stereotype, this trope, this archetype, okay? And that's all anything is. And that's the kind of thing that Chappelle was addressing on his show. Look what they did to Chappelle, guys. Look what they did to him. And I believe that they were using this technology on him around that time because it scares you to death, because it excites your nervous system. And the tech I'm talking about was the same tech that my wife used on me. And I'll talk about it on every single show. And goddamn you for doing that. It creates criminals, okay? Now, they're going to come under the excuse that, number one, mental illness, go lock them up, go, and they can inject you, right? They can go ahead and inject you. They can give you drugs. They can administer drugs. And they can make up whatever they want. And that's what they're doing, and that's how they created this new caste system right now, okay? The caste system is essential workers, okay? That's what they are. Technically, I'm an essential worker because I've got a CDL. I was actually trained as a first responder as well. I was working down in Florida, and like I said, I always work. And I came to California to work, and I was hustled out of 2 jobs. Okay, you're telling me to do my show. You're telling me that I'm harder, smarter, better, faster than you'll ever be, and that I always knew it, but I was humble, kind, and nice about it. Fuck you. Fuck you. Okay? That's how the fuck I roll now. You know I don't like to cuss. Why'd you make me cuss? You did it. Whatever. So, I'm at the park, but you can see I'm completely isolated here. You can see that. Okay? And that's what I'm saying. I'm just going to continue my show. And I was trying to do it at another park. I was blocked. I tried to record a show and upload it. Nope, it's not letting me do that once again. Okay? So, again, when you're in the Cinderfella effect, because I don't believe in all that other crap, you're individually targeted. That's what you are. And they're in your device. And again, what gives these people the right? Well, slowly over time, these rights have eroded. And so have guys like me. I am the real thing. You understand? And if I ever die of an overdose, you're going to bet your bippy that they poison my food. And I think that's what they do to a lot of people. Okay? Now, rock and roll has always been dangerous. But this is the first time that anyone's going to be addressing the 27 Club outside of, some fringe thing that's online. Now, don't forget that I'm a Leonard Nimoy man, right? I guess maybe that's why I attacked Orville, because I couldn't understand it, but now I know it's an alternative or either or to Star Trek, right? But I just remember the original episodes. But what I remember more than anything was Leonard Nimoy's album? No. but I do remember Golden Throats. That's an oldie but a goodie. You got to look up things that I talk about. You guys can, whatever. You don't do anything. I don't even know who my audience is. Like, you don't leave any comments. Some of the comments I answered are people that I previously blocked, so they're more than likely AI bots. Okay, but he had a show called In Search Of. Okay, and there was also who's the other guy? I just had his name in my mind. Maybe it'll come to me. I can picture it. Oh, it's called Chariots of the Gods. And now this is ancient stuff. Now, all that stuff has turned into basically the Joe Rogan show, okay? A bunch of 13-year-old boys smoking weed and listening to Joe Rogan. And then having mainstream media report on Joe Rogan, what Joe Rogan has to say about it, things. That's kind of where it's turned into. And I consider that to be the pendulum swinging back. Now, don't forget, this entire I call it white powder. This whole white powder movement, which is the alt-right, the alt-white. I guess that's what I would be, alt-white. But this entire notion started through gamers. Don't forget, gamers who grew up with what? Rap and hip-hop. These are 90s. Actually, no. They're the next generation, Gen Zers, I guess. I don't know. They're the ones after that. They were born in 2000. And they're born into this hip-hop generation. And they're a bunch of white kids, and they repeat the lines in the hip-hop songs. Don't forget Dave Portnoy, guys. That's what Dave Portnoy did. They got rid of a guy because everything is recording you. Nobody bothers to think of how that recording was made of him singing the rap lyrics. He wasn't sitting in front of his computer. And his computer is recording him 24/7. It's recording all of us 24/7. And nobody wants to admit that. How they'll poo-poo you is they'll tell you, well, there's not enough room to save everything. We don't have enough, sir. We don't have enough room to save everything. Okay. Like I said before, your little Aunt Minnie, who likes to get a bottle of wine here now and then, right? She's got a little blip on the radar. Boop. They're probably not going to be recording everything, but, it's not going to be a top priority. But your Uncle Jack, who likes to throw a few back and punch a couple guys right in the sack. Ooh! Right? Oh, yeah. They're going to be watching that guy, or basically listening, or the AI that's ascribed to him. Okay? Now, it's more intense when you're on these platforms. And don't forget, Facebook and Instagram are now as one. right? How do you do that? Do you see that, guys? They weren't the same company before. Now they are. I told you the paper that Mark Zuckerberg released, I give you evidence on every single show. And let me tell you something about people like Nathan Stoltman on Lift the Veil. That guy's mind has been melted. It's melted. He is in the Elgo abyss. Okay? I can tell because at one point I was surfing that Eggy verse instead of the real normal one, right? And again, what these police officers who I've been talking to let me know that they write reports. So they're writing up my report. And so this is what these pieces of trash back in Michigan glommed onto. That I have some kind of report or something written up, like, and these guys, and again, it's a phony outlaw tag. These guys act like they're outlaws. They all have tattoos, but the fact is they're all rats. I call them Fed rats. And if you want to get into something about Boston Robbie, we can get into something about Boston Robbie. Because like I said, I would protect Yolanda, but I don't owe anybody else anything. Don't ever forget that. Not even her. I'm just doing it because of the person that I am. And let me tell you guys something. It has nothing to do with how you're raised. I really don't believe that at all. These phonies run around here like they, you know what I mean? Like they have some great family and some great moral. You don't know you don't know what moral conundrum you might find yourself in. You just don't know. That's why all these losers running around looking for quote unquote justice, you're never going to find it. Because it's a popularity contest inside the courthouse as well. Trust me, I've been through the system, guys. When I say trust me, I'm not asking for your money. Look how I live. I'm not asking for your money. I'm asking for your intellect. I'm asking for you to use your nuos and your logos, right? Use your mind and your tongue. La, 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 la. Shut up. Ooh. I am in West Hollywood, right? And again, if you can't make these jokes about different people in your society, what happens is it starts fomenting this anger and it starts building up. And that's why they're trying to take down free speech just to see who the people are, right? And now I told you. Oh, I saw this great, is it Gavin Newsom? Yo. Gavin Newsom just ripped Hannity a new one. It was genius. That's why I said, man, I'm not partisan. Sorry, I always got to wipe the crusties out of my hands. What do you want? If you're fair, then you have to call things out. And Gavin Newsom just ripped Sean Hannity a fucking new one. It was genius. Genius. He was laughing right in his face. He took him to task. And I know why. Because these liberal states produce the highest GDP, right? Gross domestic product. All the liberal states. That's why they have liberal governors. And that's why they are tracking and tracing. They have the highest tech. Do you see the correlation here? Do I need to go step by step for you? I hope I don't. I can't change my look because I have to hold it up by my one hand. Sorry. I don't have a selfie stick. I can't find it. Oh, it's right here. Right? Okay. We could take California, for example. I have a song called Bohemian Grove. I hope you check it out. Okay? And it's going into my property called Linoleum Blown Apart. And we will talk about that. But I like talking about my real life. I really resent very specific people in my life, and I want to state for the record, I don't know Sally Jakunis of Royal Oak, Michigan, and I don't know James Kenneth Graham, but I think they're two pieces of trash. I know that. Targeting individuals? Yeah, we'll see about you, motherfucker. Let me tell you something. If you don't find God, then God's gonna find you. So, you know me, I like to talk about my real life, and it was pretty troubling. This tech is pretty troubling. Now, we can see that in these liberal states, they have a high GDP. They are actually making the money for the country. They are run by quote unquote liberals who are liberal corporatists. Let's not forget that. And Republican corporatists first. So stop thinking that these morons give a crap about the individuals that we are. I was the one to talk about synarchy. We are part of this thing. Okay? Make no mistake about it, I got itchy nose. Just talking about yay. That's why I told you about the guy coming up talking about being a drummer and starts talking about cocaine. Then he hands me a card. You know what his card was? He's a pornographer. That's what his fucking card was. His card is that he's a photographer, I meant to say. Yeah. Okay. Everyone's a pornographer now. I'd be surprised if they don't watch people watching porn on your device, record you jacking off, and then sell it to sites. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I told you about David Portnoy, right? The guy who they let go. And that's where Gamergate came from. Now, Gamergate means something else, but what they were doing, you're talking about a generation of kids who are raised on rap. And they're singing the rap lyrics. That's not racist to sing rap lyric songs. How is that racist? That doesn't even make any sense. And I already proved on the show that racism doesn't exist, number one. And number two, nobody can define it anyways. They're just a bunch of phonies. What they are is obsequious Philistines. And what they do is they're just Google answer dorks, basically. They don't use their own discernment. And I prove it every day on my show. And nobody comes to take me to task. And my stuff is buried. You better know that's right. My book, my writing, everything is buried. At least I'm not. Not yet, anyway. But I think they're going to make their move on me. There is no doubt. That's why I said I don't really care. What happens is, like I said, when you get older, you get better. People don't understand this. They're pushing this whole notion of Alzheimer's, early strokes. Look at all these strokes that are happening, guys. These strokes are happening because of your device. Okay? That's what they pulled on me in 2018. My brain was melting. This is corroborated with Frances Haugen's testimony. Now, who did she testify to? A bunch of corporatists. Now, why would a corporatist ask the correct question? Like I said, in these states, these liberal states, and Gavin Newsom, I got to hand it to him, he put Sean Hannity in his place. He made him look like the old fool that he is. He's a zealot, and we all know it. Excuse me. That's how alternative media started to rise, because of geezers like him. They're like wringing out the dish rag for the millionth time. In all of these states, what's legal? I should say decriminalized? Drugs, prostitution, and theft. What do you think is going to happen to these people? Take a guess. What do you think is going to happen to these people? What do you think is going to happen? People like that are not only tracked and traced, but we might consider those people to be eliminated. Why not? Who wants prostitution? Who wants this life on the streets? Right? What I'm trying to do with my life, my last bastion of hope, my last breath, is to be the most creative person that I can be. Unfortunately, right now, my guitar's in the pawn shop. which is as old as time. Hey, Rod Steiger, yeah! Right? Just like any other musician, right? Just like Chet Baker. I hope I don't fall out of a goddamn balcony. I'm never up high enough to fall out of a balcony. Right? There's a good chance that these people might be eliminated. Now, what I'm finding out here, little by little, I said before that there's no outreach. I made a mistake, and I do apologize. I always apologize, and I come clean about my mistakes, but you got to watch every show. Thanks. Anybody? Hello? Anybody out there? I know certainly these former friends and family of mine, they couldn't say shit if they had a mouthful of it. They're about as dumb as a box of rocks and the bag of hammers that broke them. Make no mistake about that. And so are these fake LARPers, these Fed rats who... Right? That's why I'm really worried. As a return on your investment, like I said, I've got the best untapped imagination to ever troll into town. And it's not just linoleum blown apart. Look what I just came up with. It's called Brother. But it's about two brothers. But you understand? You leave the S off. It's brother. Right? Which one's going to live? Which one's going to die? And how are you going to know? Could there be a trick ending? I mentioned Prince of the City on the same day that Treat Williams died. I mentioned Gordon Lightfoot on the same week that he died. Sorry, guys. Sorry, fellas. I'm like the cooler. Ooh, I am the Iceman. Yeah. Right? But what we can do is we can tap into the essence of these films. And that's what I did when I was trying to explain to you. Linoleum blown apart, that's right. Oh, I had a good one earlier. Like I said, I had 3 attempts on the show. Hope there's no attempts on me. And yeah, the guy who accosted me yesterday, did I tell you the story about that? He had the same MO as this lousy police officer that showed up with a former girlfriend of mine's mother. And I want to state for the record, I was mistaken, and I apologize to everybody on Facebook. I thought we were actually friends. I want to say for the record, we are no longer friends. Any of you. I can't trust any of you. Either you're too stupid to know what was going on, or you were in on it. Either way, you're out. Capiche? Yeah, that's how I came up. Make no mistake about it. Why would I have the same temperament and the same ideas and ideals and notions as a 27-year-old kid? When I'm 57, I wouldn't. We all have a place in this world. And you got no business targeting individuals, especially with online bullying. That I call the Cinderella effect. What are you gonna do? You gotta have fun, Christ's sakes. What, are you gonna end up old and angry like me? Ooh, look. A little H3O. So I just want to state for the record, there's a lot of channels out there who, they talk about the same things as me, but I don't get any love. I don't get any hits. I don't get anything. That's okay. I'll keep going. So we have... Walter. 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 I don't know, maybe I can work on a linoleum blown apart channel. In case you don't know, there's a lot of things going on with me, technically, and it's not good. So I'm doing the best I can with what I have. And I always like talking about current events. Sorry, I don't mean to come in so hard. I always like talking about current events because you kind of have to nowadays, right? But this project that you're going to see come to fruition, I have the demos. They're under linoleum blown apart. That's right. And those songs are going to be re-recorded, right? And it kind of reminds me of a film called Backbeat that they did in the punk rock era, the grunge punk rock era. They did a film called Backbeat where they were talking about Stu Sutcliffe, and they re-recorded like all these the songs that the Beatles actually played. And they started playing what? They started by playing covers. Okay? Now, I came up in Detroit. It was the exact same thing. When we go to the bars, they were all cover bands, and they were really good. There was a band called Holy Smoke that I remember, and there were a lot of other bands in Detroit, and it was had a major effect on me, and I apologize. I never give these guys enough due, and I just want to say big ups to Holy Smoke. They're still playing in Detroit. Big ups to all these Detroit bands that helped me in my forming, and fuck you to Las Vegas for having the Punk Rock Museum. You don't deserve it, but I guess you got Punk Rock Bowling, so that's all that matters. So, the songs that are listed under Linoleum Blown Apart, they're going to be re-recorded. Okay, that's the most important thing. And these songs are not created from ChatGPT. Now, what would you do if two hipster directors got paid a bunch of money for saying that they wrote a script that they never wrote, that it was actually written by ChatGPT? Huh, I wonder. So, anyways, look at my hair. Oh, look, it's a match. Look at that. Oh, that's my tree. That's my Bodhi tree from from Buddha. Thank you, Buddha. There's a lot of correlations between, Buddhism and Christianity. There's a lot there. It just seems to me that Buddhism conquered the East and Christianity conquered the West. And it conquered it how? Through our imaginations. Is there anything wrong with it? No, because it's called propaganda. And propaganda is everywhere. It's everything, right? When I want to date this girl, I got the hots for a couple of them. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but I got the hots for a few of them. Let me hedge my bets. I got hots for 4 of them. just to make sure. I think 3 of them will pass. I think 1 of them I can get to come out with me. To go out with me. Yes, I am that confident. I absolutely am that confident. Absolutely. I'm confident in everything that I say. Like I said, you can show this video to whoever you want. You can sue me. You can take me to court. You can take me to task. You can come on my show, right? You can talk all about 2018. Anyone except for my ex-wife. Anyone except for Jean Marie Tandler, the daughter of the CEO of Lord & Taylor. Anybody but her. Okay? Anybody. And because you don't get any friendship, you don't get anything from me. Because what she was doing, she was torturing me through the Facebook app. And I'll double down, I'll quadruple down, I'll triple down. You don't treat people like this. I don't know who or why where you are to think that you can. But apparently, many people do. They all have this tech. Now, what's probably going to happen, since nobody is talking about it, is that they'll make me the scapegoat of it. They'll either kill me or incarcerate me. And they'll say, well, he's obviously crazy or whatever. Go fuck yourself. Like I said, they're simple forensic tests. Now, that's why they don't have true embedded reporters. That's why they don't have true undercover police officers. Okay? What they have are people who entrap individuals. And what they have are limited hangout people who will keep their claptrap and their big mouth shut because they know that they're going to get a pension. Look at me. My pension is tension. You pay attention, because I ain't got shit for a pension, right? I didn't have a pension because I worked as a freelancer. That's what they call it, freelance. Now they have freelance insurance and all this kind of stuff. Oh, my neck is killing me. Oh. I came here to stretch, guys. I came here to get in shape. Really. Walking is the poor man's gymnasium. You'll usually find me at the poor man's gymnasium. All right. So I know I sound defensive, but it bothers me a lot of times. You know what I mean? Just knowing what situation that I'm in, just being targeted non-stop, endless, man. And this has gone on for far too long, and I've pretty much had it. You're telling me to do my show, so I'm doing my show. Okay? I can't see how many people are watching. I doubt if anybody is, so that's fine. I don't really care. You're not going to stop me from not doing my show. And like I said, through this electronic harassment, they're trying to shut me down. And I'm just going to keep going, God willing. I came out here, like I said, because of my skill set, so I wouldn't freeze to death like I would in Michigan. I don't run around pretending like I have all these connections. I know very few people, and the ones that I do know, I know them by first and last name. Many of the people I worked with don't even work in the business anymore, and I don't know what happened to them, and I don't cyber stalk people. I just don't. What I do is I work only through YouTube, okay? I'm not on any other site, and surfing the Eggyverse is part of that is going with your natural algorithm, okay? Going with what comes up in your algorithm. That's why I always talk about what I watch and what comes up, okay? Because I'm cluing you guys in on how my algorithm is working. I'm not getting any Anthony Cumia. I'm not getting any Gavin McGinnis. I just got Gavin Newsom taking Hannity to task. I loved it. Look at that old fucking gray, shaggy dog. Look at Hannity. Who could ever listen to that guy anymore? Not knowing what a sycophant and a toady this guy is. Okay? That's why I'm able to call people out on both sides of the aisle. And this is what happens when you come on the other side of basically, like I said, being red pilled, being black pilled, just being pilled. There's nothing wrong with that metaphor at all. Sorry, I can't tell. I got goopies in my eyes. Right? There's nothing wrong with it. Why? Because whoever, are part of this great awakening. And that's why that term was bastardized. They're using it on the left by saying people are woke, and they're using it on the right by they actually use the Great Awakening. But that goes back to the Theosophists. I told you this before. And I also told you in some of my failed shorts, sorry, that's what they were talking about. They were talking about the new aeon. Excuse me. And listen, I don't care what anybody says. I try not to make fun of other people's religions. And again, whether it's Scientology or whatever, you're part of a group, you're part of a clan, you're part of a family, right? You're part of a clique, and you start to group identify. And you group identify online, you group identify anywhere, right? And so again, it's better to be in somewhat of a democratic group without a quote unquote leader, a leaderless group. That way kind of all people have their say in this group, but it can only grow so big. You understand? I don't know what I'm talking about. Shut up. I'm supposed to be talking about my, I'm supposed to be talking about my project. It's called Linoleum Blown Apart. That's right. And what happens is, man, like I said, I was already up. I already did my show. I was just working on tech for hours. You can see I'm kind of flabbergasted. I'm like, ugh. But I did have chicken and hot sauce. It was really good. So good. So good. Oh, I smell like Frank's hot sauce. All I need is a Clorox bleach rag. That's a great put down for somebody at a bar. So that's what I come up with. So that's going to be part of the dialogue for Linoleum Blown Apart. That's going to be a snappy dialogue like that Roxy would say to one of the bartenders who won't, or whatever, she doesn't like, right? Oh, that's what it is. There's a scene like that. So Roxy hooks up with Max, and Max owns the speakeasy that they're at. And that's what she'll say. And they'll accuse Roxy of having sex with Max. Max is married. He's got 2 kids. But, and again, she doesn't want to hear it. So she says, yeah, well, at least I don't smell like, Frank's hot sauce and Clorox bleach rags, right? Do you see? Everything I do goes into this property, twat waffles. It's a great term. I'm going to be calling people twat waffles. And by the way, I don't know. My channel could get struck, but I'll keep going, guys. I will keep going. Don't forget that. Look at it. It's already 45 minutes in, and I haven't even talked about Linoleum Blown Apart. I just started talking about it because there's all this minutia that happens with the band. So it's not cut and dry. We don't know that Linny is going to join the 27 Club. We don't know, but I do. I know a couple great things about it. It's really interesting. It's really a lot of fun. And don't forget that he is the reincarnation of Napoleon, and he starts dressing like Napoleon. That's what's important about it. And for a while, like with Adam Ant, there was this powdered wig punk that started happening. Now, don't forget, Adam Ant, he was singing about bondage. That's what a lot of these British punk rock people were singing about. And we were singing about it too, right? And this is pre-online porn, okay? So when I look at porn addiction and all this kind of stuff and people being holier than thou and putting people down for what they watch and all this kind of stuff, I'm just fuck you. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, what a bunch of prude assholes. And that's what I found myself in 2017, being on Facebook. And it was brutal. And the reason I know my wife, Jean Marie Tandler, the daughter of the CEO of Lord & Taylor, like I even fucking knew, why she was complicit in this torture was because I lied to her. The only time I ever lied to her, because I'm not a goddamn liar either, is when I told her I hired a lawyer. And she only cried 2 times in her life because she was so spun out on meds while she's giving me sex and torturing me. Classy broad. She cried when her mother died, and she cried when I said I got a lawyer. That's what kind of broad I was married to. And this is what I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm kind of sick of this eternal recurrence. Like I said, I just got accosted by an undercover police officer. These guys have the same MO. This was on Pico, just west of Fairfax, yesterday. And he told me he wanted to rape me. I haven't been told that since I was 11-year-old kid. And I just already told you that story. 11-year-old kid, running the neighborhood. And I got to hear this shit again in my life. And that's why I know these guys are a joke. And I know they're connected to the police department. And that's what makes it even worse. And that's why I speculate about things like, well, I don't have to speculate about Charles Manson. Now do I? And I don't have to speculate about OJ. Now do I? And I don't have to speculate about, what's his name? Fucking asshole. The Wall of Sound. Spectre. Now do I? What? Why not? Why not? I mean, the only one I don't want to talk about is JonBenet Ramsey. That's an open case, you guys. Understand that. I mean, these things are horrific. And like I said, I love Norm Macdonald. But I can take him to task about having way too many OJ jokes, man. Way too many. It just like went, whoa, 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 whoa. Right? What are you going to do? Are you a sycophant? Are you a follower? You're just going to follow everybody? You're going to be like, oh my God, they're so funny. So take a look at Louis C.K. Now, Louis C.K. is about a year younger than me. And I'm not taking anything away from it. The guy's talent, blah, blah, blah. And don't forget, he worked with Diablo Cody and Tig Notaro on her show, and they had a scene where a guy was beaten off in front of a girl from behind a desk, which is his MO. And now he comes out and he just laughs about it. That's fine. I don't really care. But he comes out, he's unshaven. He's 20 pounds overweight. He's got a stain on his sweatshirt. First of all, he comes out in a sweatshirt and jeans and a stain on his sweatshirt. Okay, this is Louis C.K. I'm talking about. And I watched his show. I watched all his shows. What the fuck? The guy's been in the business for years. Right? They love him tried and true. I guess he knows how to keep a few secrets, eh? So, what does he do? He does all of his jokes, some of his jokes that I saw about Bible literalists. I mean, didn't Bill Maher do the same thing with his film Religulous? Right? Didn't Bill Maher do the same thing? I mean, taking people to task for, being religious, Bible literalists. I mean, there is an esoteric nature to the Bible, and this is what I'm trying to tell you. There's no Bible code. There's something called gematria, okay? That's why I'm not a Christian, because I'm not a goddamn phony. And that's what they want. They want you to supplement yourself, to get on your knees. Take a look at There Will Be Blood, guys. Take a look at a scene like that. Holy rollers, holier than thou. Oh, yeah. It's all online now. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of this stuff is peer pressure. Oh, are we supposed to hate this person now? Well, I'm going to go ahead and hate him too. Click, 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 click. I'll hate him too. Why not? Everybody's hating this person. Well, I hate them too. Click, 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 click. Now, there is no Bible code. The Bible code, when you're dealing with numbers, is called gematria. So when they say God in gematria, each letter is a number, is 26, and unity and light equals 26, you might read in the Bible that God is unity and light. Right? That might be a line in the Bible somewhere. And that's why they say it. Because mathematically, it matches. So when you're talking about 666, and I'm not talking about all these other, oh my God, here they come. Here comes the LARPers. Here you go. That's for you. Anyone can be diagnosed at any time, and you can be temporarily ill when you're sick and feeling depressed, and then when you're feeling better, I'm sorry, are you going to go back to that same diagnosis? Oh, well, at one time he was diagnosed this, or they were diagnosed that. So it must be coming back. It's so arbitrary. You're a phony. Why? Why? Because you're a phony. That's why. You see him? There you go. Here comes the AI bots, and this is the kind of thing that got Owen Benjamin kind of like out of his mind too. You're suffering with these AI bots, and then they crank the algos in your smartphone. Now, I said before, letters are numbers, and so if God is 26 and unity and light is 26, then you might read a passage in the Holy King James that God is unity and light. I don't go before the Holy King James. I'm very sorry. I was diagnosed. I'm like diagnosing. You tell me. There's no way for us to know. Why don't you put something on your show and you can see if you're a robot or not? You have a channel that there's no content on there, where you're not saying, hello, that's me, I'm Y, and nor do I care. You're probably not anybody of any relevance anyways, and if you are, then you're probably someone who knows me. And that's why nobody cares about these AI bots, and you can't give them any weight. So with God is unity and love, unity and light, I meant to say, right? So they both equal 26, so you might read that part in the Bible, right? Well, what if your preacher, your local priest or preacher says, hey, listen, we're going to be godly, and instead of coming in, we're going to come in Sunday, but we're also going to come in Saturday. We're going to have a picnic. And hopefully, if the weather works out, then we're going to come together with unity and be under light, which is we're going to have a good weather, right? We're going to come under light anyways, because no matter what, if it's raining, it's still lighter than it is at night. We know that, right? So, is your priest, preacher, pastor, minister interpreting the Bible correctly? I would say yes. Yes, they are. I would say yes. Yes, they are. Why? Because anyone can extrapolate anything from that amazing text. And that's why I can never take anything away from it, right? That's why I can never take anything away from that text. Because you can extrapolate it however you like. It's up to the individuals, and it's up to the group who comes under that umbrella to interpret it the way that they see fit, right? So again, this is what was getting the ire of Owen Benjamin. You guys take a look down there, or it'll be in the comment section. If they weren't blocked already, I don't know. It's so hard to say. And what they do is, if you're on Instagram or Facebook, is they'll crank the algorithm up to unnatural amounts. And this is what's triggering people. And this is why people are getting triggered from news stories. And this is why in the white paper business plan that was put out by Mark Zuckerberg in March, he said he wants people falling in love with their device. Gross. Gross. Fall in love with your friends. Fall in love with your family. You understand? You should be in love with them. That's why these people turned on me, because they knew they had to. It was part of an operation, and that's the scary part. You know, they could kill me. They could take away all my rights, right? They already ran me out of 2 jobs. You understand? And then these officers come around me asking me if I need services. Of course, I'm going to say no, because I really don't. I'm not in need of anything. So when they find me dead, they'll say, oh, we asked him. It's all plausible deniability. I told you. Oh, we asked him. He denied services. So, oh, well, now he's dead, right? Or they'll poison you by putting something in your food. Like, well, he was a drug addict, so he must have got a hold of some Fenty. You see what I mean? They'll have somebody put Fenty right in the food. Now, this is some scary business, right? But when you got people like I had trying to steal my songs because they know that they're superior to a bunch of mama's boys in Michigan, oh yeah, that's right. I'm not afraid to dox people, and I'm not afraid to call them out because I was afraid for my life down in Florida. And this continued up until Michigan. And this continued before that in New York. And it continued before that in Michigan again. And it continued before that when I was in Las Vegas. That's right. Hey, he doesn't know his race. He doesn't know his place. I don't think you know what race is either, buddy. And anyone who involves themselves in race are racists. And people like, what's her name? Candace Owens, right? They proved that the most racist people are people on the left. They troll people with racism. That's what they do. That's all they care about. And I already proved that racism is fake. Why? Number one, there's more racists than just black and white. And they think they own the fucking country, and they do not. Number two, 80% of the people in this country either hook up. Look at the LGBT couples. Look at the LGBT couples. It's the same thing with regular couples. Not regular, but, non-LGBT couples. You hook up with people who look like you, who look similar to you, usually. Hell, there's even some couples who hook up that look like brother and sister. They look more brother and sisterly. It's just true. I remember one of the first girlfriends that I was able to sleep with, one of the first girls, I picked her because she was actually, we just got along more than the girl that I was supposed to go out with. And the girl I was supposed to go out with, my buddy started dating her. And again, so you're young, you do different things, right? And that's why when I left Detroit in 1992, I had written all these songs. I wrote songs for 10 years. They're great songs. They're still great songs. And I said, fuck you. I'm not getting any support. And I left. I didn't know where I was going. I just went. You understand? But, you do things for only so long. People just naturally get sick of things. I don't know how long to spend in a job. Usually, I'm not kidding, about 5 years. I get pretty bored. I get pretty bored with a job in about 5 years, right? So, yeah, you guys check the comment section. See if this phony's there. If they're not there, that means I have already blocked this person a long time ago. So once they're blocked, they're blocked. I'm YouTube exclusive. I have every reason to be on YouTube telling my story, and I really appreciate being here. I'm not on any other platform. And there is no racism or sexism or anything here. We call people out for being what? Phonies! That's right. I was trying to think of what the kid's name was from Catcher in the Rye. Holbrook? What's his name? Holden Caulfield. That's right. Catcher in the Rye. He's calling people phonies. That's what you could call people now because their nose is stuck in their phone. Right? Everybody's stuck in their phone. They're a bunch of phonies. It's the best. Oh, I'm having a great time today. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I tried to do my episode earlier today. And, ran into lots of problems. Don't fall into this racist trap. Don't fall into this partisan trap. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that these corporatists who actually can legally bet on the stock market with insider trading tips, they come into office millionaires and they leave billionaires. Hey, we let it happen. They're just, right? They're just, quote unquote, following the rules, right? And again, I'm going to watch political stuff. Everybody watches political stuff, right? Everybody watches political stuff, but for the most part, meh. We've got better things to do, right? So, we knocking on heaven's door over here or what? You guys hear that? I hope you don't hear it too well. But Anyway, so let's talk about this project a little bit. I might have to. Maybe I'll leave. I'll just go just a little bit further away. I think it is knocking on heaven's door. I think it is. Oh, something with Bob Dylan came up not too long ago. Oh, I don't think that we're going to be able to get away from the sound, though, because I think you can hear it everywhere. Oh, I don't know what it is. Oh, you know what? They're doing aerobics. They're just doing aerobics. Oh, man. They're just doing aerobics. Oh. I'm so old. I think it's knocking on heaven's door, and it's just like, it's a completely different song. Shut up. It kind of has that beat a little bit. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, I guess we're going to have to go with it. I don't think you can hear it too much. Usually, with my live videos, you can comment and say whether you hear the music in the background or not, but I got a bunch of doofuses over here, a bunch of phonies, afraid to show who they really are. Not me. My name's Gordon Douglas Ison. It's certainly not Gordon Keith Ison. That's for sure. Another person who was calling me was his sister. His sister was calling me while they were running these ops, and my brain was fried. And I tell you something, this came from the Facebook app. I already proved right here on this channel that you always look in the, what's it called, the commentary? Is it? I think it is. Not the comment section. What is it? The community section. I'm sorry. Always check the community section, guys. I got a lot of great stuff in there. I actually have pictures of a UFO. I think they're calling them something else now. They don't even call them UFOs anymore. That's how old I am. And I was talking about Leonard Nimoy's In Search Of. And we were talking about Danigan's, what's it called? Footprints of the Gods or something like that. Yeah. That's all that stuff was from when I was a little kid. I write about it in my book, Two-Legged Animal. My book is buried. My writing is buried. And I don't really care. I'm going to keep going. Okay? So, a little bit about this story. God, I can never find any satisfaction. I was like, okay, right there. I know you guys don't see it, but it looks different when you do the playback. What are you going to do? Okay, so thanks a lot for bearing with me. I like talking about my project as well. And I'm showing you, look, I can go into the second hour. I do 2 hours. I could do longer. No problem. Because I actually know what I'm talking about, number one. Number two, I enjoy my show. I enjoy what I'm doing. And I also put enough thought into this where I try not to make too many mistakes. Sorry. Right? So, I don't know what all these buttons are at the bottom, but I want to press them. So, like I said, everything that I say, you know, I don't think computers are going to come into it, not the BC era or anything like that. But some of the stuff that I say, like I said, you smell like Frank's hot sauce and Clorox bleach rags and you use it as a put down. You call people twat waffles. This is all going into my project. And like I said, with the Frank's hot sauce and the Clorox bleach rags, that comes with a scene with it that I already have with a guy named Max and a girl named Roxy. Roxy uses her sexuality to get ahead. Like I said in other episodes, there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people use their sexuality to get ahead, especially women. You know, it just happens. And, you know, but again, it's usually somebody who's, excuse me, like starting out young. And they think that that's what you have to do, or they think that that's part of the deal. But as you get older, you know, you should actually, you know, work on, you know, more of your, hey, I have my abilities to show for this. I don't have to, you know, use something else like drugs, sex, or other kind of things that lure people in or try to entrap people. But what I'm finding out is that all of this entrapment is all done by the police department in real life. Okay, so that's why I made the switch to narrative fiction, just fiction. Okay, because the real life is corrupt, and you know, if I ever have a kid and a family, I don't ever want my kid to know that. I want my kid to grow up like an innocent person and not ever grow up the way I did. I'll grow up as hard as I did. You understand? Where I had to start working at age 6, and then lo and behold, hey, buddy. Lo and behold, I have my wife calling me a butler electronically. Yeah, I'm a butler, eh? Yeah, trained butler, eh? Because we're so poor, we have to clean old people's houses when I'm 6 years old, and you think that's funny? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, good luck, skank. You're going to need it. So anyways, I switched to fiction because of this kind of stuff, because of these former friends of mine. Like I said, I can make new ones, or I'll just stay here by myself. I don't really care. The fact is, I'm going to hold everybody at arm's length until the day I die because of pieces of trash that I used to call friends. I want to state again, for the record, we are not friends anymore. And if you ever come near me, I'll put you on the ground or under it. Make no mistake about that. You don't torture people, and you don't target individuals. I told you just yesterday, this sissy's running his mouth. The same as they've always been doing. And by they, I mean those who do that kind of thing. Like I said, police officers, PD, plausible deniability, trained liars, professional limited hangout. Oh, I'm sorry, essential workers. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Nobody is above the law. Get down, Stallonosaurus! I heard above the law. Know your place, Stallonosaurus. My place? I'm all over the place. I got 3 shows on TV. That's right. What is up with Harrison Ford? Christ sakes, this guy's like racing to be in as many things as he can. Okay, I'll give him Indiana Jones. Yes, of course, he is the original. Harrison Ford, yes, you get to have that. Ooh. What else is he in? 1883, whatever it is. Whatever, he's an old man and he's rootin' and tootin' with the cowboy hat. Yes, you get that. But I'm sorry, man. The one with one of the Jasons, I don't know which Jason he's in. He's in something else. And he just seems like an angry old guy, grumpy. I mean, you got Brian Cox, you got all these other old actors you could have gave that part to. Like, why does this guy got to be in like 3 things? Like, take it easy, fella. Who do you think you are? Whatever. Oh, don't forget, when I first started my show, I first came to town. I'll never forget. It's been over a year, so no fish here except for anchovies. And I went to, I don't know where the hell I was. I can't think of where it was now. I went and got a hotel room and stuff. I was just living in my car. And then I started making videos. I go, you know what? I want to start making these videos. And the first ones I was making were, sorry. Ugh, gross. Sorry, I'll never laugh like that again. The first videos I was making was about Marlon Brando.
Because I can do the Marlon Brando. I can do different Brandos. You got to do a young Brando, you do old Brando.
Right? So I was doing Marlon Brando. I was just being goofy. I'm like, what can I do? I was trying to do, everybody tries to do a funny viral video. I don't try too hard. I just do. Usually I fail, but whatever. Right? So, I was thinking about it, and then I started thinking about Stanley Kubrick. Right? Because I had written a song. That's why I'm playing the long game, I swear. So you have this world with Walter, and he exists in the same world. It's not like Zelig. I said Zelig earlier. It's like Spinal Tap or whatever it is. It's like a mockumentary where the character exists along the same timeline as Roger Corman and all these other great directors. He exists in there alongside Hitchcock, right? And so then there's a book about him. Okay, so I always like that notion, a book within a film. People are reading a book, and then the people in the film are like, oh, I want to read that book. There you go, it's more merch. You got all the merch, the t-shirts and the hoodies that go with not only the bands in Linoleum Blown Apart, which is going to be a real band. Guys, you forgot about that angle? Linoleum Blown Apart is going to be an actual working band. They're going to be able to pick up their instruments and play the fucking songs. That's what's so great about it. It's not going to be a bunch of goddamn phonies. It is true. It is funny that he was going around calling people phonies and like look at everybody's into their phone. You got to get some of these like young kid, some of these young kids to like just like calling people phonies. That'd be funny. No. I'm saying it because you're in your phone. Are you a phony? Or I'm sorry. I should have said phoner. Shut up. So. Right? So he exists in this world, and so the band have a book, and JoJo has the book. And I can't really spoil other things about that. It's like, oh, the chimes. Ooh. You guys hear the chimes? I don't know what you hear. Anyway, so I can't give too much away, right? So, but Walter, he comes to America, right? We already established that. And he does his first 2 films. Now, he's still in the studio, and these generals, right? These generals are coming by the studio. They're always there. They worked with him on Of Reasonable Service, so he knows who they are. They dropped out of the scene for when he's working on Pork Chops and the Who's Gal, because you have him going into this world of Grabowski, and he goes into downtown seedy LA. Like, don't forget, now he's comes here and he's in Hollywood part of LA. Then he goes to the seedier part of downtown in another part of his life. Okay? And so you're going to find this happening throughout his life. You're going to go into very specific chunks of Los Angeles, and I think that's what's going to be fascinating about it. Well, we're going to go just one thing at a time. Sorry, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself here. Whatever. So, he does the film with Grabowski. I know all the story that goes in there. There's got to be mystery. Ooh, there always is. There's got to be, stolen goods. Yeah, larceny. Right? So, then he finds himself at the studio, and in comes Jeremy Cloud. Jeremy Cloud had released the book. He doesn't come walking in until later, but we're going to cut to Jeremy Cloud out of the blue. Nobody knows who he is, and that's the best part about film. It's like you can introduce these characters, boom, in a jump cut. You go right to it. And like I said, I love this Dick Cavett, because Dick Cavett is a suit and tie guy, very handsome. And he had a different temperament. He wasn't Johnny Carson, but he is going on all these same shows. His name is Jeremy Cloud. And at this point in time, just like Anderson Cooper, nobody knew he was part of the Vanderbilt dynasty or whatever, one of these big family names. And we are going to make up the family name, okay? We're not going to use anybody. That's why I said what I'm writing is fiction, guys. But it's all based on little instances. And that's what's so great about it. And you will see this thing get made. There is no doubt. We will see this thing get made. And like I said, you're going to have to kill me. And all these cops and these people coming around me, man, that's not cool. Because you did it for too long. And you set me up in St. Clair Shores. And I'm convinced that they're going to set me up now or kill me. And that's not cool, man. And again, like I said, look what they're doing artificially. They're doing it artificially through your device. Fight or flight, fight or flight. And look what they're doing. They're putting all this pressure on me on the ground. Sorry, man. Do what you're going to do. Do what you're going to do. So, Walter, he's done with the film. He doesn't know what to do. Well, you got to start planning your next film right away, right? You're going to start planning your next film. And boom, like I said, you cut to Jeremy Cloud. That's not his real name. Cloud of smoke, bro. Right? And so he starts going on all these talk shows, and you see him in one of these talk shows. And when he starts to talk, he sounds like a combination of Alan Watts and Joseph Campbell. So when we're talking about, hey, did you guys go to that new club downtown? Do you see the dames in that club? Oh boy, they're looking fresh, right? So they're in the 1950s. And then so Jeremy Cloud would say something like, women in the Aborigine culture actually show their breasts rather openly. And so what he says is very pedantic, archaeological type statements. Like he's like a living National Geographic. And that's a great line for the show as well. Also, you have, I don't like getting into too many ethnicities, but when you have a film like Pork Chops and the Who's Cow, you can have a couple of people associated with Hollywood roll their eyes. All right. Because we know that certain ethnicities don't eat pork, right? So it's a great title. You can have a lot of fun with that. And like I said, he's coming out of that and he meets Jeremy Cloud. And Jeremy Cloud comes in and everything that he says is rather annoying, but actually, it's very fascinating for certain people who think that way. It's just like me with my family. I would have been really interested in meeting my grandfather and my uncles and stuff like that. But instead, my mother had us isolated up in Detroit, where I didn't think we looked any different than anybody else there. Now, did we? Bunch of phonies. When you can't tell them exactly who you are or where you came from, don't ever forget, you're an original outlaw, just like me. I am an outlaw, a real outlaw. Before I realized that the true criminals are the police department, people running dope inside the police department. Corrupt FBI, corrupt DEA, corrupt CIA, running dope, doping guns. That's not my business. What my business is to use my imagination and to be as a creative person as I can. And sometimes I had to go to jail. Why? So I can get stories. So I can get dialogue. And I put some of that in my book, Two-Legged Animal. Right? So here comes Jeremy Cloud on the scene. And so they're like, well, there's a new guy on the scene. You want to check out his book, Walter? Walter's just like, yeah, I'll check it out. So he checked out his book, and his book's like this bizarre encyclopedia. Like I said, it's part Gordon Wasson, it's part Carlos Castaneda, it's part Jack Kerouac. The guy dresses like he dresses in a poncho, right? But he's an Anglo. And like I said, he's ushering in the beats and the beat poets. And he talks about how ancient cultures speak, and he went around the world and he did all these drugs and he did all this amazing stuff. And you guys know me, I am the prophet of 2039. And I have a feeling that Anthony Bourdain was working on a script very similar to The Bear. I'm not saying that he was working on The Bear or that The Bear has anything to do with him, but it just seems to me, look at what I'm working on. At my age, Anthony Bourdain was around my age, and he had already written very successful books. I read one, it was called Medium Raw. It was his mea culpa. It's where he realized his first book, he was an angry young man, just like me, Two-Legged Animal. And then mea culpa, Medium Raw comes out, and he's like, man, I realize now, hey, I can make fun of Gordon Ramsay. But the fact is, Gordon Ramsay is not just Gordon Ramsay. He's an entire team. He's helping to pay salaries for thousands of people. Maybe thousands, I don't know, 1,000, between 100 and 1,000. He's paying their salaries, just his company. And so Anthony Bourdain began to realize this. And I believe what he was working on before he quote unquote committed suicide. You know me, I'm a Hollywood Babylon guy. That's right. Kenneth Anger is still alive. God bless him. Or somebody better bless him. Lucifer Rising, that's right. And he wrote a book called Hollywood Babylon. Don't forget, he was sued, and he was sued once and one time only. And they lost. That's right. Everything that he got in his book, he basically took it out of snippets out of the paper. So it's basically a stolen book. Everything in that book is like stolen, right? He didn't investigate any of those people. He took information that was already publicly available. and he compiled it in a book. That's all he did. And that is rather genius. That's really genius stuff. That is chaos magic right there, right? Where you're creating something possibly out of nothing. That's how it works, guys. It works by spellcraft. And what a lot of people don't understand is that's what these creeps are up to. These creeps are satanic, but yet they go to church every single Sunday like a bunch of phonies. But when you're adversarial, you are the adversary. You are Satan. You are the satanic one. And my entire life, I have never been that way at all. I've always been rather a peacenik. And again, I think a lot of losers who got my name in their mouth back in Michigan, there is no mitt anymore. Here you go. There's the fist from downtown now, right? Right? Bunch of phonies. I think they shit-talked me a little bit too long. And I pretty much had it with trash like that. And that's what they are. They are trash. They are trash to me. You trashed your friendship with me. You trashed it. Zoolander, really? Maybe that's your existential crisis because you can't hold a candle to one thing that I've ever done in my life. I actually went out there and did it. I didn't know anybody, and I didn't have any connections. And boom, before I knew it, I was in a lousy furniture commercial. What do you want? I write about it in my book, Two-Legged Animal. That is buried on Kindle, where it was revealed to me where I was working at Amazon that they are, quote-unquote, running game on you. Ugh. Yeah, fake gang members who work alongside corrupt police departments. And if they're not corrupt, then their blue wall of bullshit is limited hangout. Oh, I don't know nothing. What? I don't know. Just taking orders. Just doing my job. Yeah, right. What a bunch of phonies. Ugh. All right, okay. Sorry. I'll leave it alone. But just to get back about Walter and Jeremy Cloud, he looks at the book and he's like, what the fuck is this? But again, it's a bestseller because it's on an intellectual bent, right? It's like, it is like, somewhat like the Nat Geo, National Geographics. You guys remember the National Geographics? They were even on that show Happy Days because they had naked women from the jungle on them who were like topless, and the guys would like look at it, right? This was my upbringing coming up. That's how we looked at pictures of boobies and stuff like that, right? Right? National Geographic. And so his book has not only a sexual vibe to it, because he talks about how indigenous people have sex, but he also talks about, obviously, their belief system, what he experienced when he was there, you know what I mean? And the drugs that he took alongside of them. And so it's like one of those books that everybody wants on their bookshelf, right? But the fact is, you can't make a film out of this book. Like, it's impossible. But what Jerry and the powers that be are trying to do is they're trying to get these guys together. Okay? Now, take a look at, I don't know if Terry Southern was involved in Dr. Strangelove or not. I'm not really sure. It's been a long time since I studied that, but it's kind of like the same thing. What they're doing is they're getting these guys together to find out how their minds are going to work. And so, again, Dr. Strangelove was based on a small pamphlet and a book that they had that they got from the military. And so they were able to create these scenes. And so first they came up with the concept, and then they had to, sit there and write the dialogue out, right? And, rehearse the scenes and everything like that. And then, it's time to shoot the film. And so it's basically going to happen like that. And that's what their life is going to be. And that's going to be Walter and Jeremy Cloud. And it's going to be Walter's wife going like, ugh, like, again, everything that Jeremy Cloud says, he says it like, like Alan Watts, just very matter-of-factly, just like he knows all about Zen Buddhism. He knows all about, different culture from around the world. And it's like, And she's becoming very Americanized, and she's just like, can't you give me a straight answer for once? Can't you just say, yeah, you look nice, lady? You know what I mean? Because they're looking for that snappy, straight to the point dialogue, and he doesn't have that. He simply doesn't have that ability at all. Now, don't forget that they're going to work on 2 projects together. What they're going to work on is the Spangled Banner. Right? Now, the exoteric nature is Star Spangled Banner. When you see the Spangled Banner, when you see that term, your mind is going to go, oh, that's Star Spangled Banner. Okay? That's the exoteric part of it. But the esoteric part is blood on the flag, right? Where you're imbuing this flag with all this power, right? That's what it's about. It's this jingoistic notion. Does the flag have the power, or does our will have the power? And who really is running the United States of America? Now, this is a scary film because it takes place in the 50s, and that's why everyone's kind of freaking out. Don't forget, you're going to have the Cold War coming up. Okay? And again, like when I was creating the We Are Martian scenario, that is about the Cold War. Right? It's similar to the Cold War because Martian land, whatever, they are going to be doing all this technology and going to other planets and blah, 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 blah. They don't need the Earth anymore. They're off on their own. And they're like, we're going to go out there and get stuff. And so the Earthlings are left scrambling, and that brings the United Nations in, right? Like this whole NATO war that's going on right now where they have to destroy all this old equipment. Okay, maybe you guys should read Fletcher Prouty the way I did back in the 90s. Maybe, I don't know, get some information from some other places rather than this mainstream bullshit narrative that they're feeding you. They're getting rid of a lot of antiquated equipment, and they're going to update every fucking place because that's what happens. They came up with this model during World War II, right? And along with updating all this NATO equipment, I'm talking about Russia and the Ukraine. They're not only updating the equipment, but they're going to update the infrastructure of the city. They're going to be smart grid cities when they're rebuilt. And I hope they are. And I hope there's not going to be many loss of life. But we know that there's going to be. In every war-torn area, there's immigrants. They're pushing people out of one place and moving them to another. What is that called? It's called a maroon, right? We have already established this. Maroon means red, the red man. That's why they would say these people are marooned here. That's why most people are multi-culti. You would have to actually take a DNA test. And I do have, a lot of stuff is flying in my eyes, guys. Got a little wind coming in. But at least I'm not really around too many people. And the people who are over here, I'm far away enough that they can't hear me, even though I yell. I yell talk. Sorry about that. It's just what I do. I yell talk. Right? You're marooning people and you're taking them away. Now, take a look at 310 to Yuma, guys. Take a look at 310 to Yuma. Okay? In 310 to Yuma, there's a death. And the bad guy goes, who is this guy? They had to kill a guy. They're robbing the stagecoach. They go, what's his name? And they said his name. And they said, you take his body back to his family land so he can be buried with his father. You see this? Why did he say that? Why did he say it? Did he just pull it out of his ass? No, there's a reason why he said that. Because that is what traditionalism is. You come to a place, you have a family, you build up, and you don't destroy that family. You don't turn on your family. You build that family. Right now, they're going around saying people I can't believe they're calling people instead of equality, saying that they have equanimity. Do you know what that means? That means you got a price on your head, son. That's what that means. Equanimity? Take a look at the definition, Jack. Oh yeah, you better know that's right. Equanimity? Excuse me? That's why I created the Giddy, that's right. And then a company stole it, they're the Giddy now. I can still be the Giddy, can't I? GDI, Gordon Douglas Lyson. I am my own cryptocurrency, that's right. I have my own equanimities. Hey, can I get a loan on that? Just think, yeah. Little paycheck advance. Right? Yeah, I have my equanimity. That's what that means. There's a price on your head. I mean, doesn't anybody look anything up? Why are you accepting everything that these people actually tell you? Why? Sorry, it might be a little windy. I noticed that last time I did a show. The wind was coming in. Pretty hefty there. And I apologize for that. I'll try to speak louder. I won't, I swear I won't. I can't speak any louder, really. I wish I had my guitar. It'd be great. I could have done some shows. I could have like made a little bit of extra money, made a little bit of laundry money. That would have been really nice. But I tell you guys things when it happens. That's why you got to watch the show every single day. We're at 90 minutes and I could keep going. I can keep going. There's no problem here. Right? I got, look at this phony. Look at this phony left. Yeah, that's right. Take a hike, Jack. Who cares? I have 120 people, 126 quote-unquote subscribers. Thank you guys very, very much. I really appreciate it. And I'm getting about 10% of that. My nose itches, guys. Oh. So we're going to get back to Walter and Jeremy Cloud. But I just want to remind people, I stand by everything I said on every single show. You want to sue me, you can sue me. You want to challenge what I said? You want to come on my show? We can make those arrangements, hopefully. If I had a show inside of an actual apartment, heaven knows what we could come up with there. This is what I'm trying to show you, my skill set. And I am a team player, make no mistake about it. But I am keeping everybody at arm's length. And I only work for food. That's it. I'm not kidding. I don't trust anybody. And it's going to be hard-pressed for me, too. And if I ever have to sign a contract, more than likely I would probably actually have to hire a lawyer to go over it. Now, I did go over some legalese one time when I took my $2,000 computer into Partridge Creek to find out that Jason Clifton actually put malware on it. It is behavioral malware, and he is a Fed rat. Make no mistake about it. He was working with the police department, and these are the police department who are trying to set me up. And this is what I'm really troubled with. And to think that my wife was in on this, man, it's very, very troubling. Very troubling. But hey, I keep going. Like I said, you got to put me down like one bad dog. Let's hope not. Like a caged animal. And don't forget that when they tell people that they're rescuing animals, they're putting them to sleep. So let's have some perspective there. Oh, we rescued animals. We rescued them. Did you really? Did you rescue a stray animal? I'm talking about people not who get animals from a shelter, but I'm talking about those who go out and find strays and put them in the shelter. I don't know. I think animals are rather happy just kind of running the streets, but they mostly do it in places, I think, in South America. Anyways, it's just my beef. Sorry, I don't know if there's no way for me to know if the wind is blowing into the microphone, so I do apologize. But just to wrap things up, we went 90 minutes on this show, and we were talking about Jeremy Cloud, this character, and that's where we're at in the script, right? And I'm giving this away on my show. I'm trying to look for interest. I asked you guys for help. If I need technical help, I need help. And that's technical help. I don't need any money, and I don't need any shelter. I don't need anything. I need technical help. That's what I need. And I don't need any food. Okay? Like I said, if someone wants to work together on a project, I'll work for food because I like eating good. I don't like eating garbage. And unfortunately, my budget only allows me to really not eat very good. Like I said, the greens that I get greens in a can. And that's really about all I can get. So I'm going to let you guys go. I want to thank the people who actually watched this thing. I want to say big fuck you to anybody who was on Facebook who actually believes that they're my friend. Did you want me to name these people? How about I name some names on this show? How about I name some names before I go? Some big mouths. Huh? How about I name you by name and dox you? A bunch of phonies. Oh yeah, it's on, son. You better know that's right. Thank you very much for watching my show. I appreciate it more than you'll ever know. Later.